you said it all, so we're done. That was pretty much all of it, yeah. No. This is going to start differently than I planned because of Nate. I wasn't intending to write any notes when Nate was speaking because I'm next. But one thing he said, a lot of things he said, but one thing he said, it can't be, you can't do this anymore. It can't be I wish I had, it has to be I will obey. When I was not eating lunch with all of you and doing some final preparation, I came along a piece of paper in my notebook that says October 4, 2009 on the top. This is in a pile of paper that I found when I got fired. And I probably hadn't written anything in a year, at least. But I found this pile of paper that I had saved, thank goodness. And many things like this are in that pile of paper. I don't know where I was at this point. I don't know what. It must have been a Bible study that I was reading. At the top it says October 4, 2009, the challenge of walking with God, and I just kind of perused through it. At the bottom it says next steps. So what do I have to do next? It says, what is God calling me or us to do? What is He calling me to leave behind? That was 2009. That was 3.5 years before I got fired. One big thing I tell people about getting fired is that, yes, I got completely blindsided, but God shoved me out the door. And finding things like this that I wrote now 4.5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, emphasized to me that He was trying to push me out the door a long time ago. I wasn't paying attention at all. There were other signs. I wasn't happy. I always told people I love my job. Of course I love my job. I was there all the time. Every minute possible. When I wasn't there, I was working at home. I'd get home 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and you'd think I want to spend time with my family. I didn't. I didn't know I didn't want to. It's just how I acted. I didn't spend time with my kids. My boys are 15 and 17 right now. So 2009, they're 10 and 12. Wouldn't you want to spend time with your dad when you're 10 and 12? Doesn't that make sense? Go. Getting kicked out of my job was the best thing that could have happened to me. It changed my life for the good. 16 years doing the same job. The last 3 years of that job, I was in charge. I ran a car dealership and managed and helped out with 3 others. I worked all the time. Even when I went on vacation, I was working. Did you know you can order cars online without being at your desk at your dealership? I can do it. iPad, it's a wonderful thing. What was I missing? I was missing my kids. I was missing my wife. How many people here are single moms or single dads? Raise your hand. Nate, raise your hand. Okay, you folks will understand this, and this is no slight to anybody who's ever been a single mom or a single dad or have been in that situation. But when I got fired, my wife told me that she was so happy because now she would not be a single mom anymore. My wife and I have been married for just over 20 years. Kids are 15 and 17. They were, I'd had kids for almost 16 years when I got let go. She had felt like she was a single mom for 16 years. The only difference is I was actually in the house, being that third kid, being the guy who didn't help out, who didn't play with the kids. How stupid is that? But I'm here to tell you today that I'm up here so I can tell you about it, so I can tell you not to be me. And a lot of times I talk to guys about this because it seems that a lot of times guys get into this. When I say, traditionally, hey, we're supposed to provide for our families. That's a good thing, right? A lot of times guys take that too far, and we don't even know it. Working 65 hours a week, making a lot of money, building a big house. There's nothing wrong with the big house. There's nothing wrong with a brand new car. But if you're doing that and ignoring your family to have those things, if you think you're providing for your family with those things, you're not. In the late 90s and early 2000s, I made a ridiculous amount of money. Amount of money that right now I can't even imagine making. When I lost my job last year, I got another job very quickly and very easily. I did not even have to go look for another job. My phone rang when people found out that I was available. I now make maybe 50% of what I was a year ago. But I now spend a lot more time with my kids, a lot more time with my wife. I went on a cruise with my wife in January. Some of you know I tend to be on Facebook quite a bit. I haven't gotten into Twitter too much yet, but that's just another, deep hole. I went on a cruise with my wife. We could have had internet on the cruise. 8 days times, well, we could have had a whole nother cruise for the amount it cost. But we didn't have internet. I spent 8 days with no internet, no email, no phone. The only reason I had my phone with me is because it's a camera. It was the best 8 days of my life. The only way it could have been better is if my kids were with us. That's strange to say, because this was an anniversary cruise. This was our 20th anniversary. Okay? That's strange to say. My wife and I had never gone on vacation by ourselves. Ever. So there's another rule. Go somewhere without your kids. They'll be better for it. Married for 20 years, never went anywhere by ourselves other than on our 5th anniversary, for some odd reason, we went to Minneapolis, Minnesota, which I love Minneapolis, Minnesota. But my anniversary is December 30. Friends of ours had moved there. I talked to my wife, let's go see them. That'd be great. We didn't have kids at that time. They didn't have kids. No problem, that'd be awesome. When we left to fly back from Minneapolis to Grand Rapids, Michigan, the actual air temperature outside was 15 degrees below zero. And that was probably the warm day of the 7 days we were there. That was the only other time we went on vacation by ourselves, and that doesn't count because we were with our friends. But yeah, I went on a cruise with my wife. We didn't know how to talk to each other. Married for 20 years, what did we talk about? We didn't talk about the kids. Amazingly enough, that didn't happen. I think having been let go of my job and it had been another 6-7 months, we got to talking about the kids out of the way. We just spent time together. We did things together. We hung out by the pool together. Only one day did I think we get up in time for breakfast, which was fine. We didn't have to be anywhere. We walked around Puerto Rico together. We walked around the cruise ship together. We had dinner together. every single night. We've never done that before. But now I do it. Now I do it at home. I don't have to be on a cruise to do that. I now have, again, I used to work 65 hours a week or more. I now take every Tuesday off. I have every other Saturday off. It's taken almost a year for my family to figure out what to do with me on a Saturday. I never took Saturdays off. This week, even, I kind of switched back into work mode. I knew I was going to be here Thursday, Friday. This is my Saturday off tomorrow, so I didn't have to worry about that. I got to work Monday morning and I said, screw it, I'm taking Tuesday off. I looked at the calendar and realized I have 11 Tuesdays in the summer with my 2 boys. It's time for me to spend time with them. I didn't care what my boss said. Thankfully, he didn't care either. And that's another, we'll talk about that part later. But, I spent time with my boys. They loved it. They said, what are we going to do? Let's go golfing. Okay, I'll go golfing. I love to golf. My boys don't golf. They wanted to do that with me. They wanted to do something that I like to do with me. They're horrible at it. I don't know how we've gotten to this point. Well, I do know how we've gotten to this point, but I don't know how we've gotten to this point that they're 15 and 17, and they are such bad golfers. You would think at least a little putt-putt here and there, you know, they just don't get it. But they wanted to spend time with me, so we did that. I didn't work, so I didn't make any money. We spent a little money, but more importantly, we spent time together. I didn't slip back into work mode, which is just shocking to me. I don't know why I have the notes either. Talking about how God removed me from my job and kicked me out. There are little cues here and there that I should have left earlier. Now my challenge right now is to figure out what He wants me to do with my life. Yes, He wants me to spend time with my boys. My oldest is 17 and he'll be a senior in high school. I have 67 weeks until he goes to college. Okay, so I know what I got to do there. What else am I going to do? Is that it? It could be. I mean, we could spend a lot of time together and that would be great. But I think the other part that I need to do, I need to be standing up here and talking to you folks and talking to bigger crowds and talking about my experience. As long as I don't have to go after Nate all the time. Because you made me cry, okay? But I'm standing up here to talk to Nate. Nate, how old are your kids?
7, 4, and 2.
7, 4, and 2. I do not remember my kids being 7, 4, and 2. Okay? And when I say that, I'm serious. I cannot remember things I did with them at that time. I remember my youngest son's first birthday party. The only reason I remember it is because I got in a screaming fight with one of my brothers. That's why I remember that party. Because my brother said something stupid to me, which was probably nothing at all. And I was so stressed and so overworked that I couldn't handle it. That kid just had a birthday party a couple weeks ago. We had a blast. We had an absolute blast. In the past, having my whole family over for a birthday party, no, thank you. Especially after experiencing, I mean, literally I was chasing him around the house. So that's why I'm standing here, though, to tell you about those things that I did wrong in my life, to tell you to make sure that you don't miss out on those things. And if you have missed out on those things, don't do it anymore. Okay? That's for everybody in this room. It doesn't have to be for your kids. Okay? Other family members. No matter how close or how far away you are from them. Whether you've seen them in the last 2 days or haven't seen them for 20 years. Make an effort. Do what you can. Thanks.